Are you tired of this happening while taming a Quetzal? My name's Tek Quetzal, and today I'll show you how to tame a Quetzal, and if you stick around I'll tell you a couple of neat things about tamed Quetzal. First off, let's prepare. The food you're going to need in order from most effective to least effective. Exceptional kibble, raw mutton, raw prime meat, cooked lamb chop, cooked prime meat. I'd recommend using exceptional kibble or raw prime meat. It wouldn't hurt to have some cooked prime meat just in case. You'll need around 300 narcotics per hour during the tame. At a default taming rate, a level 30 can take between half an hour and 2 hours and 15 minutes. A level 60 can take between 45 minutes and 3.5 hours. A level 120 can take between an hour and 15 minutes and 6 hours. And a level 150 can take between 1.5 hours and 7.5 hours. These times are the difference between the kibble and raw meat. The recipe for exceptional kibble is 1 extra large egg, 10 mijo berries, 1 rare flower, 1 focal chili, 5 fiber, and 1 water. Quetzal is probably the most difficult solo tame in the game. They are very rare, and the big obstacle is that wild Quetzal never land. They can be bowled by chain bolas, but good luck hitting a Quetzal with one of those without already having a Quetzal and a platform saddle. They also can be immobilized by bear traps or large bear traps, but as I said, they don't land. There's also a bug in the current version of the game which causes the Quetzal to fly to 50-50 on the map once it's fleeing. Coincidentally, this is probably the worst spot to tame a Quetzal on almost every map. On the island, it's the river north of the Redwood Forest, and that particular river is covered in almost every predator possible. Raptors, terror birds, carnos, allos, rexes, you might even be able to find a spino there. I'm going to recommend you use shocking trank ammo if it's available to you, just to drop the Quetzal faster. Otherwise, it's possible to use a crossbow with trank ammo, just expect it to take a while. Also, the Quetzal does have a headshot modifier, but it's rather small, just the eyes and the top of the head, which can be hard to hit while you and the Quetzal are both moving. Regardless, try to get them when you can for some extra torpor damage. That's all the things you have to worry about, so let's look at taming. If you have a tribe mate to help you, this tame isn't a big deal at all. You can use any flyer with a bunch of stamina and carry your tribe mate to the Quetzal and have them shoot with trank ammo until it falls out of the sky. But if you have someone to help you, you probably wouldn't be here looking for answers to how to tame a Quetzal. So let's look at this from a solo perspective. There are a bunch of different flying mounts you can use while taming a Quetzal, and I'm going to try to talk about methods using each. The Griffin is the most straightforward to use, however they're only available on the Ragnarok map and must be transferred into the other maps. The thing that makes Griffins so straightforward to use is the ability to use weapons while driving the Griffin. There's also the added bonus of a passenger seat, which can also use weapons, so it gets extra points in that regard. The best approach is to stay just under and just behind or to the side of the Quetzal, so you have a clear line of fire at it. Using a Pteranodon, a grappling hook, and whistle commands is a bit of a peculiar way to tame a Quetzal, but it works. Have a Pteranodon follow you and shoot it in the belly with your grappling hook. Jump off a cliff or down a slope and whistle for the Pteranodon to move to a location above you. If you do this right, the Pteranodon will fly to the location. If done wrong, the Pteranodon will fly to the ground. Once you find the Quetzal, you can whistle attack for the Pteranodon to move directly at it. Before the Pteranodon hits the Quetzal, whistle move to cancel the attack. While you're near the Quetzal, make sure you're hitting it with trank ammo. If you have a Tapejara, you can use weapons while in the front passenger seat and control it with the whistle move and attack commands. I find it to be tricky to get in the passenger seat and not have the Tapejara land, but it can be done similarly to the Pteranodon. Have the Tapejara follow you and approach the edge of a cliff or be looking down a steep slope. Select the front passenger seat from the radial menu and the Tapejara will glide forward and try to land. Before it can, whistle to move upward. Now you can whistle attack this target on the Quetzal, and the Tapejara should not be able to keep up very well. From the front passenger seat, you should have a clear shot at the Quetzal. This next method is my least favorite because of how clumsy it is and its high chance of failure, but I have to mention it. For this, you'll need a stamina statted Argentavis and a damage statted Scorpion. You're also going to want the Scorpion to be set to aggressive before you pick it up with your Argentavis. Now what you want to do is fly as close as possible to the Quetzal's head with the Scorpion and just let it wail on the Quetzal. This method has a very high chance to kill a high level Quetzal, and I don't recommend using it on a Quetzal above about level 60 because they have too much torpor and not enough health. A more unconventional method requires using a Snow Owl. Using a Snow Owl's freeze ability on top of the Quetzal will cause the Quetzal to fall out of the sky. Repeat this until you can get a trap built on top of the Quetzal so it can't fly away. The quickest to build uses regular sized dinosaur gateways. Once you've done that, feel free to knock it out. It's difficult to pull this off, but it's one of the easier and safer methods once you have the Quetzal trapped. You can also use a Wyvern. If the Wyvern is following you, when you dismount in the air, it will hover and you can stand on the back of its neck. You can use this to have a floating platform that you can shoot at the Quetzal from. It's not as easy as using a Griffin or a Tapejara, but it's better than bouncing around from a grappling hook. If you already have a Quetzal and a platform saddle, it makes knocking out a Quetzal easier. Pre-build a portion of the trap, the size needs to be 3 tall or the Quetzal will not fit, and you need to leave a side or top open so you can trap the Quetzal. I chose to have the top open, but use whatever side you see fit. Find a Quetzal and let it fly in. Once it's inside, place the last bit of structure so it can't escape. The main problem with this method is flyers constantly drain stamina while hovering in the air, so your Quetzal will not hover in the air forever. From what I've observed, a Quetzal will lose about 19 stamina per minute. So for 95 minutes, you'd want to have around 2,000 stamina. Also, you cannot leave the Quetzal at any time during the tame. If your Quetzal is not rendered or moves at all, the Quetzal you're taming will fall to the ground. You can recover a small amount of stamina with stem berries, but you need to compensate with a ton of food to offset the hunger drain of the stem berries. Whichever way you decide to use, pelt the Quetzal with trank ammo until it's unconscious. Put your food of choice with narcotics in its inventory and maintain its torpor so it doesn't wake up until it's tamed. If this video was helpful, make sure you like and share it. Your support really helps out the channel. Now for the neat facts that I promised earlier. The Quetzal saddle Ingram is learned at level 76 and is crafted in a smithy with hide, fiber, cementing paste, and silica pearls. There's also a platform saddle Ingram which can be learned at level 97 and is crafted in a smithy with hide, fiber, metal ingots, silica pearls, and cementing paste. Like all other flyers, you can take off and land with jump. Their primary attack is a peck attack. Their secondary attack can pick up creatures. The limit seems to be a drag weight of about 400, or about the size of a woolly mammoth. Quetzal eggs can be used in the recipe for exceptional kibble, along with 10 mijo berries, 1 rare flower, 1 focal chili, 5 fiber, and 1 water. There's a skeletal form of the Quetzal, which first appeared during the Fury Evolved 2 event and dropped a skeleton costume on death. The skeleton costume could be obtained during the archaeology event with a cooking bot recipe. Now it can be obtained for the Expert Explorer achievement by collecting 80% of the Explorer notes, and it will be in your inventory whenever you respawn. There's a Tek version of the Quetzal, which rarely spawns in place of a regular Quetzal, and first appeared during the Extinction Chronicles event. There's also a malfunctioning Tek version of the Quetzal, which first appeared on the Genesis Part 1 map. These Quetzal are aggressive and cannot be tamed. There's also a bionic costume for the Quetzal and is currently only available for console players who purchase the retail version of the game. That's all I've got for today. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and have yourselves a very good day.